Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Me and teammates are from Group 4. We will present about
working capital management. We are required to provide suitable suggestion to Dahlia Berhad regarding the strategy that can be used for the company's improvement.
So before we start, let me introduce you our group members.
So the next one is the nature of the current asset. It refers to all the assets of the company that can be easily sold, utilized, consumed or used up to through the normal activities and operation. This include cash, account receivable, inventory and short-term investment. The current asset also provided liquidity and short-term obligation on ongoing business activity. Current assets have their own importance that help business to make better decisions in activity and business operation.
So the next one is I will present about key components of current asset investment policy that consists of 3 points. The first one is hedging current asset policy. The hedging or maturity matching policy is an effective strategy for managing working capital, particularly for Dahlia Berhad company that seeking to minimize their financial risk while ensuring their sufficient liquidity. By aligning asset financing with cash flow characteristics, businesses can enhance their financial stability and operational efficiency. So the second one is a relaxed current asset policy. Dahlia Berhad company that maintains a higher level of current asset in relation to its sales and operating demands is said to have a relaxed current asset policy, which is a strategic approach to working capital management. This policy can be evaluated and adjusted on a regular basis to make sure it stays current with shifting market dynamics and company situation. So the last one is restricted current asset policy. Restricted current asset policy is defined by keeping current asset below sales in order to increase profitability. This strategy minimizes the investment in current asset but also comes with some hazard. To guarantee that this policy in line with the business overall financial strategy, it is imperative that regular evaluations of operational requirement and market conditions to be conducted.
Next, we move to the sources of short-term financing. Some common sources of short-term financing include the first one is bank overdraft. A bank overdraft enables businesses to take out more funds than what is in their account up to a previously established limit. This serves as a convenient option for immediate financial needs since it allows for easy and fast access to funds. Dahlia Berhad has the option to utilize these resources for everyday costs like buying materials or paying employees when production is busiest. Nonetheless, a conventional overdraft may involve interest, so Dahlia Berhad should explore Sharia-compliant overdraft like Qard Hasan, which is the free interest loans from Islamic bank. So the second one is trade credit. Trade credit is a form of financing in which suppliers give companies the ability to buy goods or materials on credit, and payment is required with a specified time frame of typically 30 days to 90 days. This allows Dahlia Berhad to postpone payment, allowing them to sell their products and make money before paying off the debt. So trade credit can provide relief for temporary cash flow constraints and is especially beneficial for purchasing supplies prior to important celebrations. So ensuring that the credit terms adhere to Sharia principle is crucial, with a focus on avoiding any interest or undisclosed charge in delayed payments. So we move to the number 3, which is Sharia compliant short-term financing. First is murabaha, cost plus financing. In a murabaha agreement, the bank buy goods or raw materials required by the Dahlia Berhad and sells them at a profit margin, with the payment deferred to a later date. The financing method is Sharia compliant since there is no interest involved and there is no interest charge, and the profit margin is agreed upon in advance. Dahlia Berhad could use murabaha to finance production-related purchases without violating Islamic principles. The second one is ijara. In an ijara contract, the bank purchases an asset and lists it to the company for a specified period in exchange for rental payments. These options allows Dahlia Berhad to expand its production capacity without incurring debt, as it only pays for the use of the asset rather than taking ownership upfront. So number 3 is Mudharabah, which is the profit share contract. It's a partnership where the bank provides the capital and Dahlia Berhad manage the business operations. So profit are shared between the bank and the company based on a pre-agreed ratio, but any losses are borne by the provider of the capital, which is the bank. So this structure avoids interest and align with the risk sharing principles of Islamic finance.
Okay, so we will move to the components of current asset and current liabilities. For components of current asset, for this company we have 3 points, which is cash, inventory and account receivable. For cash, cash is crucial for covering immediate operational expenses such as payroll, rent and utilities of Dahlia Berhad, and it provides the liquidity needed to respond to unexpected costs or opportunity. Okay, for inventory, this comprises work in progress, which is shoes that are being made, and raw materials such as leather, rubber and synthetic materials. And for account receivable, timely receipt of payment for distributors or retailers, guarantees of Dahlia Berhad company, cash flow for production and other costs. For components of current liability, it states that Dahlia Berhad consists also 3 points here, which is account payable, accrued expenses and short-term financing debt. For account payable, this is the amount owed to the vendor for goods and services including leather, rubber and other components that required for the manufacturer of shoes. So for accrued expenses, Dahlia Berhad company obligation to pay for services previously rendered are shown by the accrued expenses, and this business may make sure it has enough cash flow to cover their operating expenses. And the last one is short-term financing debt, which include any credit of loan, including bank overdraft or short-term loans that take out to fund operation that have a 1-year due date.
So now we move to the compare and comment on each component that is suitable for the company. So the first component for current asset is cash. So cash is important for meeting immediate expenses like payroll, rent and utilities. Comment on the suitability of Dahlia Berhad is highly suitable because cash is important for maintaining liquidity and covering unexpected costs or opportunities. So the second one is account receivable. Account receivables represent future cash inflows from credit sales to distributors or retailers. This component is suitable because it can manage receivables effectively, ensures steady cash flow, which is vital for production and operating expenses. So the number 3 is inventory. Inventory includes raw materials, work in progress and finished goods. So the comment for this component is highly suitable because adequately inventory levels to ensure smooth production and balance supply demand without excess holding costs.
Now is account payable. The comparison is reflects obligation to supplier for raw materials typically managed on credit terms, and the comment on Dahlia Berhad's company is suitable. The line payments optimize cash flow but require a timely payment to maintain the supplier relationship and operations. The next one is accrued expenses. The comparison is represent costs incurred but not yet paid, like wages and utilities, and the comments to Dahlia Berhad company is suitable. Managing accrued expenses ensures the company is prepared for upcoming financial obligations without cash flow strain. The last one is short-term financing. The comparison is to include short-term loans or credit lines used for operational funding, and the comments on suitability Dahlia Berhad of company is suitable but requires a cautions, provide that access to funds but needs careful on management to avoid the liquidity or repayment issues.
Okay, so next we will move on to the component of current asset and current liabilities with a Sharia perspective. According to Sharia perspective, all business activity must avoid the prohibited element, which is riba, gharar and maisir. So the first one, I will describe about the component of current asset based on the Sharia perspective. So the first one, we have cash. Cash is referred to the element that can easily be involved with the riba or interest. Daily Berhad should avoid involved with activity that impose the riba or interest. The sources of cash also should be from the halal sources, and Dahlia Berhad should avoid investment in the halal sources. So for the second element is the account receivable. Account receivable is a sum of money that has not been paid by the account receivable. It is assuming that the company will receive the amount in the future. So based on the Sharia concept, the concept of transparency should be imposed by the Dahlia Berhad company. Both parties should be informed about the time of payment, cost of the payment, and the obligation if there is any. For the third component is the inventory. Inventory of Dahlia Berhad should consist of halal product. Dahlia Berhad should also avoid selling a defective product or impermissible product. According to the Sharia perspective, impermissible product is usually harmful to the customer. They also need to properly manage the product to maintain its quality, because they cannot sell the defective product to customer, as it will arise the issue of unfairness to the customer and deny the right of the customer. The next one, I will describe about the current liability based on Sharia perspective. The first component is account payable. Dahlia Berhad should not involve with the suppliers that practice the haram activity. They should also make payment accordingly to the period given by the suppliers, because this shows an image of a good behavior of Muslim entrepreneur. The second component is an accrued expenses. Accrued expenses is more to the ethical principle. They require clarity in the documentation to avoid uncertainty between the both parties. Most important part is any gharar element should be minimized in the business operation and activity of Dahlia Berhad. For the third component is the short-term financing debt. Islamic business provide contract of financing that follow Sharia guideline. Some example of the contract is murabaha, mudarabah, and musyarakah. As for murabaha is the cost plus markup price. This structure claim is to be Sharia compliant, as the profit margin of the disclosed is fixed for both parties.
Now, let's move to the conclusions. In order to enhance the Dahlia Berhad's performance, it is essential to focus on specific components, current asset and current liabilities. This is the key components and their potential impact on performance. The first one is, we go to the current asset. The first one is inventory management. The effective management of inventory is crucial to meet the customer demand during a busy period such as Malaysian celebrations. During these periods of high demand, it is crucial to maintain the adequate inventory to prevent losing out of sales and guarantee the customer contentment. The effective inventory management guarantees that items are on hand for timely and used to help avoid excess inventory, which may result in increased storage expenses and waste, particularly for perishable goods. The second one is account receivable. The efficiently gathering outstanding payments is crucial for enhancing cash flow and guarantee the timely payment for the company. The effective management of account receivables boosts the cash flow and providing the greater flexibility and prospects for expansions. The delays in receivable payments can result in lack of cash, impacting the company's ability to fulfill the commitments. Now, the third one is cash and cash equivalents. It is essential for the company to have sufficient cash reserve in order to maintain the flexibility, assisting with urgent needs such as paying employees and suppliers and managing the unforeseen costs, all while maintaining the normal business functions. This money also enables the rapid reactions to changes such as large discounts or investment in growth. Nevertheless, in the event that Dahlia Berhad holds Excel ideal cash, it might overlook potential opportunities to improve the growth and profitability. The company should avoid storing extra cash in low interest accounts and instead to look into the Sharia compliant short-term investment such as Islamic bonds or money market funds. These choices can provide improved profit while staying within risk, safeguarding fund against inflations, and creating additional incomes for reinvestments to operational expenses. Now, the current liabilities. The first one is short-term financing. Access to short-term financing is crucial for effectively managing cash flow and meeting day-to-day operational requirements. The companies frequently encounter the fluctuations in cash flow caused by timing discrepancies between the generating revenue and having to cover immediately expenses such as payroll and supplier payments. Short-term funding aids in keeping enough cash flow, which guarantees that seamless functionings and the capability to fulfill the financial responsibilities. Second one is account payable. Effectively handling accounts payable is essential for enhancing company cash flow. By strategically managing the company's schedules and terms, a company can retain a cash for a longer period to support the operational requirements, make strategic investment, or address the unforeseen costs.